that all the time. Let me tell you what a libertarian is. Libertarian is someone who says you can be as liberal or as conservative as you want to be. Just don't force others to be like you.
Got it.
That's what we are all about. We are all about long-term solutions, not short-term solutions. We're all about changing culture, not just changing law. Law, we have to remember something. At the end of almost every single law is a guy or a gal with a gun who will put you in a cage. And if you don't want to go in that cage, he or she is going to kill you. That means you only use law when it really matters, not just because I'm angry, not because I don't like you, not because you should do some activity I think you shouldn't do or whatever the case may be. It's only for important things like life and liberty and property and things like that. That's when you use violence. That's when you use force. That's what libertarians are all about. Yes, welcome to Libertarians Drinking Coffee Live. Yes, I have my cup. I'm ready to go. I'm so happy that you all have joined me today. It's not 7 p.m. on the East Coast. It's 3 p.m. on the East Coast. And we're talking about libertarians. And please, if that matters to you, if the liberty movement matters to you, do me a favor, like, comment, share. Let people know that we're out here. There are people in this movement that are doing stuff across the country. Every state, every county, they're doing stuff trying to make our life better and moving forward. And I am very lucky today. I have with me the man himself, the man who has been talking cybersecurity before everyone else was talking about it, the man from Washington County, Indiana, not like, I don't know, not like, Silicon Valley, California, Washington County, Indiana, running for county commissioner, Tommy Brown III. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, Larry. You?
I'm doing awesome. I'm so glad. And for those of you who want more information on Tommy, heading over to his Facebook page. It's long, but you'll know it's him. Tommy Brown III for county commissioner, District 2, 2022. So tell me, you're running in 2022, but you began early. You're running early. Tell me, why this position and why now?
Well, first off, Larry, this position has never been held in the history of Washington County by a third-party candidate. It's never happened.
Got it.
Not only am I running for the people, but this could impact history for the long term. This could break the cycle of a county that has either been Republican or Democrat controlled or both. Right now, we're in a cycle of total Republican control.
Mm-hmm.
This run right here could break that cycle. And to be honest with you, Larry, I started this run the week after the 2018 run for county council.
Wow, you're not playing games.
I was laying the foundation for this one in 2018.
I like that. I like the fact that you're serious, you're being methodical, you're trying to move forward. So tell me, what are some of your issues? I mean, there's probably a million of them, obviously, but give me like a couple of them that are at the top of your list.
Well, the first one, of course, as you know, is cybersecurity.
Yep.
The second one is the county debt.
Mm-hmm.
The third one is long-term investment. And my other one,
cybersecurity, debt, and long-term investment.
Right. And then there's one more to go along with long-term investment, and that is providing people a way to find financial breakthrough in a tax and spend era.
Wow. That's a lot to pick up at a county level. It's amazing. But I want to go to the cybersecurity piece because Jesus says right away, isn't this about cybersecurity? Yes, Jesus, it is. So I want to bring this up right now because the thing that is always that, and the reason why I asked those three top, because usually when someone's running in a county, a small county relatively, you're a rural county relatively to America. It's not like you're in Pittsburgh or Chicago or New York City, and you're worried about local cybersecurity. That is not something people talk about. We talk about like the Pentagon or the electronic, the electric grid or that kind of thing. But you're talking local. Help me to go through that. Why? What's going on local?
Because, Larry, everything that we do every day is attached to cyber. your
Okay.
electrical grid, whether it be Pittsburgh or Salem. It's controlled by internet. Your water pumping stations are now online. Your
Mm.
banking is online. Yeah, we're a rural community, but cyber touches everybody here. I don't know how many people in Washington County online shop. Um, just here not too long ago, and the last time I was on this show, I brought this up. Courtyard by Marriott just
Yes, I
had another
remember.
site. They just had another data breach, Larry, and there's
From
people
not the
in
one you
this
talked about
county.
before, a new one?
Exactly. They just had another one. There's people in this county that use T-Mobile cell service.
Sure.
A data breach, not maybe 2 months ago. Larry, this is huge. And what scares me to death is our current elected officials are saying nothing.
Yes,
I get
absolutely.
called Okay, I get called out for being wrong about something, that I accidentally misquoted something. But the only information that they gave is they spouted off 3 websites. And I'm like, really? That's all you're going to give people is 3 websites, and you're going to let them sink? I'm not about that, Larry. I don't run that way.
So I guess the hard part for me to imagine, and I'm sure you have an answer for this, but the hard part for me to imagine is when we think about cybersecurity, the average American, right? We're thinking, well, the president has to come down with a policy, and then the FBI and the CIA, and that's kind of how we think, or big tech and Google. You have a different plan that actually could work at a local level. Am I right?
Yeah, but here I'm going to throw a question back at you.
Please.
Why are we waiting on the federal government to do something? The only thing they're going to do is pass more laws, write more pork fat filled bills that have
Mm-hmm.
absolutely nothing to do with cybersecurity. And it's never going to stop. Larry, my whole plan is based around education. And
Education. Okay.
education. And it's funny that I mentioned that, because here's the thing. Not 2 weeks ago, I do believe the website is CISA, if I remember correctly, but it's on my group, Brown Book Cybersecurity, on Facebook. It's a public group. They mentioned that it's time to start education. And I
Mm-hmm.
told the members of the group, I was like, wow, wasn't there a county commissioner candidate just stating that we need an education program for cybersecurity? Because, Larry, the average person, like you just said, they don't think of it this way,
Right.
and they don't have a grasp. If you have an elected official who is fulfilling his oath as a true public servant, isn't educating the people on something that could affect their financial and their personal future, isn't that kind of relevant?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Before you go into your positive, Tommy, I got a couple comments I want to bring up here. Jesus says, I think he's on your page. He says cybersecurity should be talked about at every level and more often. I'm with you, Jesus. I'm with you.
I'm right there with him, man. Brother, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Adrian says, sadly, not everyone can afford a strong VPN. Mostly small business owners are the people with them. I still had to change my Apple ID 7 times. Now, this is at a local, this is the kind of thing you're talking about, Tommy, or no?
No, 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 no. And okay, first off, while I agree with him on that,
Her?
or her, I'm sorry,
No
it
worries.
doesn't. It does not have to. This is not rocket science. All right.
Okay.
It's the little things you do, and it's the small things that local government does that protects everybody.
Okay. Okay. Well, that goes right to what Andrew says. He says, how do we as individuals help in the cyber war that we're in? And this is a thing that you brought up, Tommy. I didn't even bring up, but Andrew does. Some people think that we're waiting for the cyber war to happen, but it's already happening. Like we're already in the war. Andrew's saying we're already in the war, right? But some people think, well, we're going to prepare for the war that's going to come. But we're already in one, and now Andrew does too. He says, how do we, prepare, help, or how do we prevent another cyber war on or attack? And what can a county board or municipal board do to prevent another cyber war or attack? Wow, that's a tough one to deal with. But do you want to touch that one, Tommy?
I'm ready for it. Okay, here's the deal. The cyber war, it started when John McAfee ran for president in 2016 at the Libertarian debate.
Okay.
Because he touched on it then, and he was spot on then. And if he was here today, he'd be spot on now. So here's how a county board or local board can impact on cybersecurity. All right. First thing we have to do is we have to educate people the safe way to go about being online. I see this over and over and over again, and I cannot get it through people's head. Quit. For all that is holy, stop using easy passwords. Don't use a numerical sequence. Don't use a letter sequence. The best tip I can give you on a strong password.
So on the individual level, we should be talking. Right. It's just funny that you say this because it is grossly simple, and it's something that anyone who has a bully pulpit, like a county commissioner, like a mayor, like a county executive, any of those people who could get on TV and do a press conference, they could literally say this. They could put it on their social media. And to be forward, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say what you just said who's in that authority, that position of authority.
Right. And, use a phrase, okay? Take a phrase that sticks in your mind, and let's start using phrases. Make it confusing, and please stop centralizing stuff. Don't put it all in one area. The other part of my policy, Larry.
Hold on, no. I want to stay on that one piece you just said. Don't put it in one area. Isn't that what we keep asking for? Don't we beg our government, literally, beg our government, please, let's have whatever, the NSA run all our security or something like that. What you're saying is directly against what most of Americans are begging for.
Because most of the time, the government, when they get involved in something, they screw it up.
But I think, you know what? It makes us feel safer not safer. That's the wrong word. It makes us feel better if we can blame somebody else, right? So if it's the government's fault because they're messing up, it's not my fault that I was hacked. It's not my fault that my county was hacked because the federal government should have done something. I hear my Governor Cuomo blame the federal government for everything, right? Anything that happens.
He just blames Trump.
That's true also. Yes, absolutely. Yes, 100%. Well, Jesus brings up this again. He says, organized crime syndicates are purposely targeting state and local municipalities due to their lack of funding and vulnerability. Besides education, how else would you tackle this at a local level, especially with a limited budget? This is a valid point. And you've brought this up before, Tommy, about how, they're actually doing things like, you were talking about things like, blackmail and stuff like that at local, hospitals and local municipalities, things like that. And I think Jesus has come up with a very interesting piece, right? How can you do it locally when you're not going to have those big magic dollars that the Fed can print? Now you're stuck at a local level. How do you handle that? Can you give us an idea for that one?
Here's the thing. This is not a money pit. All right. This is things that you can do through a lot of it, Larry, is going to be negotiations. All right.
Okay.
And let me, I'm going to start at the top. I'm just going to work my way down.
Go ahead, please.
First thing we're going to do is I'll sit down with county government.
Okay.
And be like, look, you guys cannot afford a ransomware attack, because if they put a ransom on your information, you're done. You're broke. Right. You're bankrupt. It's over. Get them going in that direction. Okay. Sit down with the hospital.
Before you go there, I want to really let our audience know this ransomware, this is a real thing. Like, people are locking out your information, medical information, financial information, and saying, if you don't give us X $100,000 or X $1 million, you're never getting it back. And can you kind of go through one of those, like, so the audience understands what that means?
Okay. So in this area, let's say that a small local doctor's office has a ransomware attack put against it.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the average price of a ransomware attack is $650,000.
Wow.
They're not going to have the money to do it. They can't. There's no physical way that even if you do donations, you're not going to cover that at all. So locally, to prevent this, you have to, like I said, a lot of it's going to be negotiations with individual entities. Indiana, however, has made a major step forward. This is the only time you'll ever hear me pat my governor in Indiana on the back.
Well, you got to give credit where credit is due. If he's done something good, you got to be open. If he's done something good,
you know, he announced earlier this year that the Indiana National Guard activated a cybersecurity battalion here in Indiana.
Nice.
So my plan is I want to sit down with the commander of the Washington County National Guard unit and be like, hey, you guys have cybersecurity ability, correct? When he says yes, be like, well, why don't we work together? You guys protect the county information. It'll give you practice. You guys are serving your community in the area, and you're visible. And to kick it off, I will personally promote the fact that you are defending county information.
Sure.
And then once that gets rolling, Larry, that's where the one-on-one education with people comes in.
No, I love this idea because now the county's not spending any extra money because these people are already there. Yeah, there's no extra money.
No, this is not, see, this is what people don't understand. This is not something that's going to rack up debt because we're spending thousands of dollars. No, it's simple one-on-one negotiations, talking things out, trying to find out where people don't know. Because, Larry, you can't be blamed for what you don't know about. It's not your fault. You can't help it because your elected officials who are supposed to be, according to the Constitution, true public servants.
Right.
That doesn't mean you're serving the community by sitting behind a desk making decisions without consulting your constituents that voted you in. You're supposed to be helping them.
So let's walk down that road for a bit. So the first piece is, and I love step one, right, is saying, hey, let's start just using the bully pulpit and telling people individually, hey, do these things that will make yourself safer. That's free, and it makes people talk about it. Hopefully there'll be some groups. You already have when you called it the what was it called? The Brown Book Cybersecurity Group on Facebook?
Yeah. Yes, it's a public group. I actually launched that a little earlier than what I wanted to, Larry. But
okay,
I was getting pressure from not only you, but I was getting pressure from several people here locally. There was a woman, I won't go into details of it, but she actually, thanks to my work in cybersecurity, I actually was able to thwart a cybersecurity attack against her personal information. It actually got stopped because of me.
Wow.
Simply because the information I was putting out made her think. And she's like, wait a minute, I'm going to check. And when she checked, it was like a cancer. It was growing. But there again, that group stopped that. And, she got everything corrected. She got all of her passwords changed.
Nice.
Her and I talked. She followed what I told her. And now, as far as I know, I haven't heard anything bad.
Good.
But, everything with her is fine.
So first step is using the bully pulpit, education. Got that. Second step is using the resources we already have in the National Guard to begin to defend actually the county and county information, giving them both practice and giving them the visibility and letting people know how valuable they are. I got it.
Right.
Is there another step in this? Is there more? Are we walking down this hole?
Yeah. There's a lot more. So
okay.
Once we get those things established, all right, this is where I'm different from anybody else who's ever been elected.
Okay.
Because when I'm out daily, that's why one of my hashtags is elect the district worker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to sit at home and just wait for the meetings to pop up. I'm going to be out.
Okay.
When I'm out, I will be more than glad to talk to anybody.
Okay.
You know, if you walk up to me and you say, hey, Tommy, I'm having a problem. I think something's been acquired. How do I shut it down? Well, you and I are going to go to McDonald's or Wendy's. We're going to sit down. We're going to have a cup of coffee or a Coke, and we're going to talk about this. And I'm going to tell you, hey, look, first thing you need to do is go in and change your passwords.
So hold on. I want to be clear on this. What you're actually saying then is not only do we use the bully pulpit to talk about it and then use the National Guard, but we also basically have a system to where people can reach out to the government and say, I'm in trouble, help.
Yes. But see, here's the thing, Larry. Nobody that's currently elected wants to touch this.
Yes, you're right. I live in New York City. I don't hear it. We have Yang running for mayor. He's not talking about it, right? I mean, he's a tech guy. You would think he'd be talking about it. He's not talking about it. I think you're totally right. Let me tell me a couple of things that pop up. Let me give you a couple of comments. I want to go through some comments.
Okay.
One of them, Adrian thinks, he says, this is absolutely brilliant. We're doing something right. So,
Thank you. I appreciate that, man.
Jonathan asks, are you aware of the See Something, Say Something Act? Are you aware of that?
Yeah, but here's...
Do you have an opinion on it?
Yes, I do. And Jonathan may disagree with me on this. I don't know. That's bordering on the line of creating a society full of snitches.
Okay.
You know, I'm of the opinion, you know, now, granted, if I see somebody planting a car bomb outside of a federal building, I'm going to say something.
Right.
But if I've got a guy 4 houses down from me that I know is growing pot, and he's got a class 3 submachine gun, as long as he's not threatening me or the neighborhood, let him smoke his pot, let him clean his guns, leave him alone. Now, you know, if it's going to affect a mass majority, I agree with that. But some parts of that act, Larry, it's almost like they're trying to create what Hitler did in Nazi Germany. Everybody's snitching on everybody else.
Well,
we don't need that.
I'm going to give you my concern about this. We have See Something, Say Something culture already in New York City. We don't need a law in New York City because we do see something, say something. We do it already. That's how we thwarted the Times Square bomber. That's how we thwarted that one, right? We absolutely don't. If you just tell people, hey, if someone's doing something bad, tell, they will. But once you make it a law, now you're liable if you don't. So now you're telling everybody for everything, right? That's really a problem. I agree with you. I think it's not the best law at all. I think we do what you're talking about, and we instead have our people in the bully pulpit talk about it and say, look, it does matter. Care about your passwords. Care about your VPN. Care about these things. If you see something, say something, but it shouldn't be a law. I'm with you. I don't know if Jonathan thinks that. I would guess Jonathan probably does agree with you, but I'm not really sure. But yeah, hold on. Jonathan, yes, he agrees. We agree it can easily be weaponized by politics and can be used to encourage us to turn into a society of snitches. Exactly what you said. Well said, sir. He believes you. Okay. You won him over, Tommy. Whatever you were doing, it worked.
Exactly.
There we go. That's good. Yes. So I want to grab a couple more if I could. Andrew says, how do private internet companies like Netgear start getting with the program to protect their consumers from being hacked? So do you think that, I know you're running locally, but I guess what Andrew's talking about is, you know, do we push the private sector at all, right? Do we push companies like Netgear and stuff like that? Do we push them to protect their customers better?
Good ideas don't require force, Larry.
Look at that. He got you, Andrew.
Okay. if a company sees that a local community, simply by talking about it, has dropped their percentage of a cybersecurity attack, would that not entice them to say, hey, wait a minute, we need to get with the program here. We're going to lose customers because they're going to go to these Washington County companies that are all over top of it. Good ideas don't require force. I'm not going to force anybody to do anything.
Got it. Got it. Okay. Hey, Sue says, volunteerism has always been a merit of us libertarians. I think you're absolutely on point. We need to educate the end users. What about schools and working that into their curriculum? Okay, so what about, that's a good point, right? Does this include local schooling, Tommy, or not? I mean, is that part?
Absolutely. The local schools have to be educated, because I'm telling you, and this is something that nobody here in the county is talking about. I think it was earlier this year. I can't remember the date, Larry, but a hacker got into a virtual session of school and was exposing himself to first and second grade kids because he hacked their Zoom class.
Wow.
Yes, schools have to be, they have to be in that regiment of education. And Larry, pull that comment back up, because there was something at the bottom about National Guard.
I just wanted to make sure you got that one first. I didn't want to throw two questions at the same time. That's all, Tommy.
Right.
And the other piece he brings up is, you mentioned giving the National Guard practice, but how about cultivating through our youth? Ultimately, they are the answer. So I think what Jesus is asking is, do we create like a cybersecurity club in high school, or do we create a civic group or a community group that talks about that too? I guess, right. So I think that's where he's going.
Oh, wow. You just tripped my brain on that one. Why not do this? Why not start it at even younger? Okay. Let's start it at 4th grade in elementary school. And basically, from 4th grade to 5th grade, all you are focusing on is watch what you click on, secure your password, and get permission. When you move to middle school, that's when you actually start talking about, firewalls, that kind of stuff. When you move into high school, that course is going to be a combination of everything, but the high schoolers will be in touch with me or county government officials to learn even more, because, high school kids are more advanced. It's not going to scare them as bad. You've got.
There's another piece here I want to bring up here, Tommy, that you brought up. There's two parts here that I love. The first one is, if we spent more time talking about this with younger kids, the odds of them being suckered in by bad players, by bad actors, is going to go down, because they're going to be more knowledgeable of, wait a minute, there's bad things on the internet. I shouldn't just assume everything's real, everything's true, everybody has good intentions, because clearly there are bad actors on the internet, obviously, and there are also bad things on the internet. I think if we start that early, we're actually protecting our kids more than just from a cyber attack, but also from, predators, in theory. People who are bad actors.
Right now, and I hate to bring this up, Larry, but right now, the big thing that everybody's focusing on is human trafficking.
There we go.
It's rampant. And you know how they're doing 95% of it? The internet.
Sure.
Cyber. There again, they're using cyber against us to traffic kids and female. You name it. They're doing it, but they're doing it over our own. They're using our internet against us. And sadly, Larry, I love the guy to death. He's the one that got me going down this road. Till John McAfee is released, Larry, we have no voice for cybersecurity.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I agree.
Don't step up and take this spot and take it by the horns, we have nothing.
The other issue, what I'm worried about, and Jonathan brings this up right now, he goes, we have to have the same battle we had post 9/11 with the Patriot Act. And I think we went the wrong way. We went the Patriot Act. It just made everything bad. And to your point, if we don't have a plan, the government is going to do what it does best: make a bunch of laws, try to crack down. And when they crack down, only the good people, they become harassed, and the bad players still work. And the example I'll give is, know your customer laws, right? The idea that banks have to have extra security when it comes to, customers. And all that does is ensure that the average person trying to open up an account has to jump through more hoops, makes it harder for them. The bad guys stop using the system. They've now gone someplace else, to your point, using cyber. They've gone someplace else to do it, and now we're still stuck with the horrible system. I think Jonathan's right. If we don't start picking up what you're talking about, this is just going to get worse. This is going to become another way to just take away freedoms, another way to just crush us. It's going to be a problem.
And Larry, he brings up a good point. I am sick to death of two things that our government does. They either pass a act or they declare war, which means basically nothing is solved, nothing is done, and the problem gets worse. I mean, let's think about it. We had the war on education. Well, let me see. That led to No Child Left Behind.
Yeah.
Well, before that, it was Head Start. Pardon me for saying something, but somebody's losing ground.
Absolutely.
We went from Head Start to No Child Left Behind. Somebody's getting lost.
Yes, absolutely. So Adrian brings up, my daughter plays Roblox online age 10. I'm with you. I have two daughters. One is 10, and we play Roblox together. The settings for that age. Someone posted a game that was soon taken down, appealing to kids. It was orgies. I almost had heart failure. Yes, and that's my point. I have these conversations with my daughter already so that she knows what's up, and she begins to go, hey, Dad, I'm not sure about this, right? She has the conversations with me, and we talk about this because I'm with you. We're Roblox players too. And this is what we talk about. If we talk about it in school, Tommy, then now I guess another piece too, right? Does the daughter, random, not her daughter or my daughter, but does a young girl who's playing online, does she feel embarrassed or ashamed to bring this up? And I think with your plan, Tommy, she doesn't, because everybody's talking about it. So now she doesn't feel ashamed if she thinks something's going wrong.
But okay, that goes back to my previous point. You can't be held accountable for what you don't know. And I'm going to stick a question. I'm going to stick a phrase in here that I've been stuck with since 5th grade. The only stupid question is the one that's not asked.
There we go. Yes.
And believe me, I've lived by that motto. And I tell you what, Larry, it's gotten me a lot further in life because I'm not afraid to ask a question. If it's like right now, the more I think I know, every time I go on Twitter or I pop up one of my sites that I follow, I sit here a lot of times and I scratch my head going, man, you are really dumb. Because it's blowing my mind.
Yes.
And, I have to take a step back and be like, okay, all right. I understand that now. But yeah, I mean, Larry, this is not, I don't want people to think this is an overnight fix. It's not.
Right.
I've been working on this since 2018.
Yep.
I've been working on this almost 4 years.
It's funny though. You're still learning, right? I mean, we're all still learning.
Day.
Yes.
Every day.
Yeah. The smarter I get, the more I realize how dumb I am.
Exactly.
Right? Smarter I get, the more I realize how dumb I am.
And the other thing is that you and I had talked about this before. The last time I was on this show about the government was hiring hackers to be employed to help them. Here's my problem with that. Okay. Let's say that you do hire a hacker.
Okay.
Well, the last time I checked, most small businesses close at 5 o'clock.
Okay.
You have one hacker. He works 8 to 5. The internet evils have thousands of hackers working all the time. So you're going to tell me that your one ittle bitty little hacker working 8 to 5 is going to stop the onslaught of God knows how many a day?
Mm-hmm.
While it's good in theory,
Right.
it's pointless because you're only getting coverage 8 hours of the day. You have to be vigilant about this all the time. Just because you leave work doesn't mean it stops.
But I do think there's two pieces that we want to think about. One is, no matter how much security you have, there's going to be a breach, right? Eventually there's going to be a breach. So we should accept. Yeah, there we go. We should accept that that's true, and that eventually there's going to be a breach, and we should have a plan for when there is a breach, right? Because we should have obviously try to stop one, but we should have a plan for when there is whether that's in your home, whether that's, in your business, whether that's in whatever. You should assume that there's eventually is going to be a breach. I think, and often government's not good at that. We are a zero-sum game. We are zero tolerance. We are cancel culture. Oh, we had a breach. Fire everybody. Oh my God, we had a breach. Fire. Who's to blame for this? Right? It's the first thing we do versus going, okay, we had a breach. What did you do? How did you react to it? And did you have a plan to react to it? And did that work well? And you go, yes, we had a breach, but the damage was minimal and we can now repair. That makes sense to me, right? That's what I want to do, right? The idea of trying to have a situation where nothing ever gets through, you're just failing.
There was a stat that came out, I think it was last year. 75% of small business, one, they don't understand cybersecurity.
Sure.
The 25% that do understand it, they may have things in place, but they don't have a recovery plan for if something does happen. Mm-hmm. So, see, this is where my education program is going to come in to affect that. Because if you're educated, this is not a fix-all solution. Mm-hmm. By no means is this a fix-all solution. But if we're educated, we can limit the damage that is done. It'll be easier to recover. It'll be cheaper to bounce back.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say that
I get where you're going completely, and that's actually part of the plan that I think most of us don't have, right? The reality of it is, for myself, and I'll just say this, I don't mind saying it, I back up everything constantly. So even if someone does ransomware me, fine, ransom me. I'll just say no. I may have to buy a new computer. That'll be my damage if my computer won't open up. But my data is someplace else. So you'll ransom my computer. I'll have to buy a new computer or have it erased, whatever. That'll suck. So that's damage. But the damage is minimal. Literally, I buy the computer that day, I'm back up and running. So go ahead.
Now, wait a minute. You're an ex-Marine.
Yep.
True?
Yes.
Let's see. If you back up everything, the first thought that comes to my mind is you probably back up on the one thing that can't be hacked.
Which is?
The old C drive. You can't hack C drive.
I have a separate drive, correct. And it's physically disconnected from my computer. That's correct.
That is, what you have done is what I wish everybody would do.
It's physically not connected. It's offline. You can't get to it.
Right. What I told somebody this the other day, I was like, what everybody needs to do is you need to create a doomsday plane.
Yep.
Everything's backed up. You back it up on the old, hard, impenetrable, non-hackable stuff. That's where you back it up at.
Yep.
Now, you're going to get sick and tired of having floppy disk and the other ones laying around.
Mm-hmm.
But if you label those and you keep them safe, you're fine. You may, like you said, you may have to bear the expense of a new computer.
Yep.
But everything's going to load right back up. You're not going to miss a beat.
Absolutely. And don't get me wrong, that's bad. I don't want to have to buy another computer every month if someone keeps hacking me. So I try to have cybersecurity. But eventually it's probably going to happen, is my assumption, that the enemy is going to get through the wire at one point. And when they do,
they are.
I have the damage will be minimal.
Exactly.
The damage
And
when it does. Yes.
That's what we want to do, Larry. We've got to prevent catastrophic failure.
Thank you. Yes.
We cannot have that. And the one thing that just drives me crazy about our government is they talk all the time about, oh, we have cyber command.
Mm-hmm.
Really? It's a joke.
Yes, it is. I agree.
Joke.
Yes.
They do not. Yeah, they have great defensive mechanisms. Oh man, to get people to have the stuff that they have defensively would be a dream.
Yeah. No, I'm with you completely on that. Tommy, before we wrap this up, we're gonna have to take off. Is there anything that you want to bring up that we haven't brought up? Something you want to talk about real fast before we wrap this up?
Yeah, there is one other topic that I want to hit on real quick, and I can't
Please.
get into it on this show. I'm sorry. The other thing that I want to do with people is I want to teach them how to gain financial breakthrough in a realm of what I call tax and spend. Right now, I don't care what level of government it is. Every government at every level, all they do is they spend, raise taxes, raise taxes. If we don't decide, okay, how can I get around the fact that they're taking money out of my pocket every time because they've got to have feel goods and play pretties? It's kind of like decorating a dollhouse. It's never good enough. So, I'm trying to get educated on cryptocurrencies. I follow the gold and silver markets, and I put that information out. It's if you follow me on Twitter, believe me, you're going to get barraged with cryptocurrency, gold and silver, and the New York Stock Exchange. I want people to be able to be financially secure, even though our government has a spending problem.
There we go. I like that. So they should go to your Facebook page, Tommy Brown III for County Commissioner, District 2, 2022. Or if they're really interested in cybersecurity, can they just join the group? It is if I got it right, the Brown Book Cybersecurity Group. Is that right?
There you go. It's a public group. Everybody's welcome. Within the next week, I'm going to announce on that group that, hello, this is part of my campaign for county commissioner. I wasn't going to do that originally, but now after this show and the positive comments I've got, I feel like it's time to go ahead and just drop the bomb.
I'm saying drop it. I've been saying drop it for a while. So I'm good. I'm good. Tommy, thank you so much for coming on today. I appreciate it. Everybody who, watched, I appreciate that. And all the comments I got, I appreciate all the comments that everyone popped up with. Please follow him on Tommy Brown III for County Commissioner, District 2, 2022. And, of course, join the group, the Brown Book Cybersecurity Group on Facebook. Guys, have a great day. Thank you so much for doing that. I will see you all